Hey everybody, welcome to TWiP GLAM, your weekly glamour photography podcast. I'm photographer Brian Fisher, and we'll have Roxanne here in just a few moments. This week's a little different. We took a field trip yesterday to the Preston School of Industry in Ione, California, also known as the Preston Castle. The Preston Castle was built around 1890, and it was a new concept where you could take criminal youth and actually teach them to do things and rehabilitate them and bring them into society. And it actually worked, and it was sort of the model for a lot of what we do with youthful offenders today. It operated up into the 60s, and after that was shut down, it fell into extreme disrepair. And there is a group of people that are slowly rebuilding the castle for historic reasons. It's a California National Landmark. It's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to take pictures in this historic, decaying structure without, breaking the law and breaking into some place you're not allowed to shoot. There's also a great opportunity because we are moving to 4K in the production of our podcast. So in the past, we have used our extremely handy and reliable Canon S21s for shooting the podcast and other segments. But we are moving to the Zcam E1, which is a super compact 4K video camera. A little better suited for shooting in a studio, gives you tons of manual control. And so far, with a few drawbacks, namely, we found out these things get insanely hot in a hot environment, but that's what you get when you pack a lot of camera in a tiny space. We're very excited about these. In order to safeguard that we would definitely have some video coming back, we took our little E1s and I took our trusty camcorder with us. So, of course, the one camcorder that somewhat failed us was old trusty. You'll notice that one of the views in the videos ahead, it seeks a little. For some reason, the image stabilization is going haywire in this one, and it's going to find the big electronics graveyard somewhere, I suspect. But enjoy this short set of segments. What we did is we set up several cameras, and I sort of walked through a photo shoot with the one camera. The other cameras are faced on Roxanne. And we just had some fun shooting and looking around the castle, and we hope that you enjoy this little segment. Enjoy this week. Thanks again. Welcome to TWiP GLAM. So for our first shoot, we're over here in the north end of the castle. We're going to put Roxanne in a corner over here and take a couple of pictures because you belong in the corner.
Look at this. Put me in the corner.
This is Roxanne's new look for every podcast.
And every day.
Every day?
Grocery store. Yeah.
Excellent.
Gym, in fact, with my heels.
So, to your corner.
Excellent.
Shooting with two cameras today, a full-frame SLR and also a bit of film because this is a nice retro sort of thing. There's nothing quite like nice bit of film. So let's have a quick look. Lighting is simple. We have window lights on a couple of different sides, and then I've got a nice little fill light right there. Let me back up and take a picture of the scene with the fill light for you guys. All right, and then I'm gonna sneak in here close. I'm gonna say, Roxanne, if you can, turn this side, photographer's left, your right.
Sure.
Okay, adjusting the points to go on her eyes because it's not being very nice in the picky department. Go. Select. Let's try that. Yeah, let's have your body to this window. Pick up some of that window light. And then Okay, so we got ourselves a couple of good sets. I don't shoot a ton of pictures. I like to shoot, pause, wait, and we're going to switch over to film. This is a lovely film camera that everybody should have, except it would drive the price up on them used, so nobody buys these, so I can keep getting them cheap. This is a Pentax 645, and unfortunately loaded with slow film, so this might be a challenge. This is an autofocus camera, but today's lens is manual focus, although I've got an autofocus, but this is a 150 millimeter, which sounds a little long for portraiture, but remember, big piece of film equals big lens number. Oh, no. Come on.
Huge turkey vulture just flew over.
Yep, we need the turkey vulture. Turn the other way and give me the same basic idea. Okay. You hear the beeping, even though it's a manual focus lens, because it has autofocus in the body, you do hear that you're in focus, which is very nice. Gonna swing in close and just do the face here. Focusing, lots of focusing, you forget. Okay, that's the sound of out of film, which is good because we're gonna go to some faster film. Hallelujah. And be right back. So we are back shooting our film again, now with ASA 400, which is so much better, and you'll be able to hear the camera is shooting at a much faster rate. And of course, shooting with a model that knows what they're doing is a real luxury, because they just fall in from one pose to another. Back to digital, and with the camera on top, you'll be able to see.
Here up?
Yes, we're going to do waist up. Oh, the joys of having the autofocus lens. And pose. I like that, that's nice. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to break this down. We're going to find a little different setup for you guys, and we will be back. Okay, we've set up for our second session here. I'm going to just take a quick full walk back here so that you can get a big view of the area. And that is so what I'm looking at here is a nice little hair light on one side, a little fill light on the other, which is set to a medium warm temperature. And then we're going to come in nice and reasonably close. All right, gonna jump over to film for a second. So we're working in a little closer, a little longer lens on the Pentax. Oh, hands up just like that. No, back to adjusting. Come in just a little over here. And so I'm avoiding a big bright window behind her, but just barely because it's a big piece of our light. And I'm coming in nice and close here. Face only, looking right into the camera. If I can roll that focus ring way in. Sorry, getting it just. I got inside of what the lens would do, so I'm backing up. I'm realizing I had turned off the little beepy sound. I'm lost without my little beepy sound. All right, just no hands, coming right in on just the face. If it'll give it to me. So, one of the things that you can do when you're right in close to what your focus distance is, you go all the way in and then rock your body in and out of the focus plane. And you can just watch the focus plane work the way forward from the ears to the cheek. And when it gets to the eyes, take your picture. Focusing with the body, it's something that we are used to doing in macro photography, but up close faces, it's magic. This, as you can see, I'm very quick in, quick out. We're in with a group, so I don't want to take too much time in one spot. And we're going to go downstairs, and we'll see you in a while. Okay, third setup. We have got a nice little stairwell we're going to shoot into here. Just a few quick things. It's kind of dark, so we are using a little fill light camera left that is just giving a little glisten and a little shadow on the wall. I'm not crazy about the shadow, but what I'm going to do is pull in close enough when I get the picture that the shadow isn't a big deal. As always, jumping over to the right focus point. And a little test shot, a little chimping. Camera's making it a little bright, but I'll pull it back down. So, I'm actually going to stand in front of this other camera and get a little more angle on it. Soften that shoulder just a little. There. Perfect, good. Beautiful, and I'm just going to come in and get some nice close-in work here. So, obviously, I'm sweating a lot. Roxanne is glistening in a lovely way.
That's so kind of you.
But, strangely, because we're doing this sort of steampunk thing with the goggles, the shininess kind of strangely works. Also, if we look at the shadow that we're getting here on the side, it's very harsh. It's not a complete accident because it has a little industrialness, and when you add in the goggles, it works. And that's our set. Never stay in one place too long. Take 20, 30 pictures, get out and move on. See you in the next set. Okay, everybody, this is our next setup, and we are in a neat little corner here. Let me just GoPro the whole scene for you there. And we've got a nice little fill light behind the studs on the right. It's big enough we don't have to worry too much about the light getting blocked by the studs, and if it is a problem that we'll keep an eye on, we'll just move Roxanne a smidge forward, which will make the camera soft. But let's just start with a back way up picture so you can see the scene. All right, I'm going to come in. Again, focus point on the eye. Not a lot of light going on here. I'm going to crank my ISO up to 1600, which I don't really like to go that high, but there are days. Oh, and on this lens, because this lens goes to 1.8, I will go ahead and take it to f2.0, and that will speed us up to 1/25 of a second, which is a lot more practical, given that we do not have, we don't have image stabilization on this, so it's a steady hand, and I've had a lot of caffeine, possibly a toxic amount. Let's have you face towards these windows to camera left. Yes, perfect. Now, pulling in a little tight because her color palette and tone palette is a lot like the background. I'm going to need to bring her out after the fact. I can do that a couple of different ways. In this case, we're going to go probably black and white, and then really we're going to go ahead and sharpen her, and we're going to isolate her by taking the lens all the way down to 1.8. And even though there's only maybe 18 inches to the background, you would be surprised. Armpit's just a little strong there. Always watch the armpit. As you just traded armpits. There. Not quite so. There. Perfect. Beautiful. Let's pop over to film camera for a moment here. Now, we are really going to suffer with the film camera because it's only f3.5 and the film that's in it is ASA 400. But we're going to count on some nice steady hands. There. Perfect. And that is our set. I think we're going to retire the podcast shoots. We're actually going to zip around and do a bit of fun shoots. And then we'll try to give you a little summary of the day here, which you'll find out in just a minute. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Thanks for wrapping up this episode with us. We're here in front of Preston Castle, just finishing up 4 hours of shooting. We did kind of a different episode this time.
We are tired. It is
exhausted.
It's 105 degrees, and we've been going up and down stairs in this amazing 100-plus-year-old building. It is absolutely worth your time to come on down to a photographer day, or
maybe we can do a meetup.
Yeah, let us know if you think a meetup is a good idea. The location is Ione, California. That's outside of Sacramento, kind of towards the Gold Country. Worth your time. Let us know by going to the This Week in Photo page for the episode, and there is a little form there. We read every single bit of feedback. And while you're in the mood for feedback,
give us 5 stars on iTunes, please. That's what we want.
Hop on over to the iTunes store and give us 5 stars and write us a little review.
Even better. Perfect.
It really helps our rankings and helps to kind of get the podcast out there.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed this kind of unusual episode.
It's a trial, We wanted to see how it went. I think it went really well.
And again, this is the 4K version. Let us know what you think of 4K. Load it up into YouTube. Go to that quality button. See how high it will go.
If yours goes all the way up, then we're at the highest level you can go.
And so, depending on how the photography is, either that will make your experience much better or worse, I guess.
We'd love to hear from you, how it works for you.
Give us some feedback.
Yeah.
And while we're talking again about that, hey, send us a link to your work. We would like to see some user photos.
Absolutely.
And if you'd like to share your user photos, let us know. We're up for that.
Totally.
thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you back in the studio, clean and rested next time.
Yes, and not in yoga pants and
yes,
outfits.
and sweaty and
yes,
glistening. See you next time on TWiP GLAM.
Good night.